Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 23-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living in Montreal. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record most of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. So in our first day of training today, we're going to be training at Bloc Shop, the Chabanel location. And the idea with Bloc Shop today is we're going to be continuing off the theme of the last episode, which is I'm just in a mood to chase like the Bloc Shop V13 grade right now. I go back and forth, even just in our regular bouldering training in Montreal, between what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I'll be in the mood for lots of volume and like lots of different styles of boulders, even in like the moderate grade ranges. And maybe I'll be psyched on like V9 slab style at Rose Block or something like this. There's like lots of different styles and different kinds of bouldering around the city that I find I flip-flop very frequently with what I'm in the mood for. And I kind of want to take advantage of the fact that we are still quite a ways out from the next competition, which would be the World Cup, if I do indeed get selected for it. And I want to use the time now to try some like really, really hard boulders and really push my limit with what I can physically do on like just a hard physical style boulder and really project something. Within reason. I don't want to spend like too many days in a row on one boulder. But anyway, the point is, as we get closer to a target competition, we always switch up the training and we do more performance-based bouldering in our training sessions. So that means we do more on-sighting. We always try to go for more variety and more volume. And we also start incorporating things like mock competitions, like comp simulations, right? So we don't have much performance bouldering training on the program right now. So I want to take advantage of this opportunity and really, really try some hard boulders. And as we're trying this yellow thing, you can see to the left of me is a very beautiful line of pinches that happens to be a white tag boulder. And I say this all the time, white tags are always so fun to chase and to try, because they're just at my absolute physical limit of what I can climb. And Bloc Shop is always so consistent with the grades on these white tags, and they always push my limits. So anyway, in the last episode, we were trying that super epic V13 boulder, and that just really got me psyched and got me in the mood to chase specifically V13 white tape at Bloc Shop. So this white tape that we're going to try today is on their like comp wall / junior wall that like they don't put V grades up on those boulders. It's I guess just up for interpretation. So I couldn't tell if this one was a 13 or not, but I thought it looked pretty hard and I wanted to go try it since I was just in the mood for Bloc Shop white tapes. But you can see I'm doing a very thorough warm-up. I mean, this isn't really like the warm-up, but I make sure that I am getting a lot of moderates in and like at least one or two hard boulders under my belt before I go try something at my physical limit. Definitely don't want to just jump on something super, super hard right after I finish like my basic warm-up. And yeah, that's why we're starting with lots of different boulders here. And another element of today's day of training that I knew was going to be very tricky to deal with was the pink tips that I am suffering from currently. I'm sure I mentioned it in the last episode when we were projecting that white boulder, but those are some of the tackiest holds I've climbed on in recent times. Those white holds were brand new and we were jumping around on them, trying that boulder a lot. And so going into today's day of training, I had pink tips right off the bat. And so now this boulder that we're trying here these holds are pretty tacky, pretty sticky for sure. They're not brand new, but definitely they weren't feeling the best on my nice sensitive pink tips. And luckily for the most part, this boulder consists of some pretty static moves, except for one move, which is going to be the crux of this boulder, and it's very much not static and very much not pleasant on some pink fingertips. But before we start talking about the crux of this boulder, let's just break it down in general. So I definitely thought this boulder looked hard, but this boulder is basically Zach on a climbing wall, right? This thing is super my style, pinches in the steep with a bit of power endurance, and where efficiency is super key. I'm really good at being efficient, and I really feel strong on pinches. So I thought, okay, I can probably do this one probably in this like morning session. I didn't expect it to challenge me as much as it does. So anyway, there's a bit of a learning curve to this first move. I potentially think that we were supposed to jump into some double clutch move to start this boulder off, but I find this weird way to like ride into the undercling using my left foot on top of the start foot. But anyway, let's talk about this ending sequence while I'm trying it really quick. Thankfully, this last sequence isn't too hard. This last pinch is a bit better than it looked. I thought it would be really bad. And this move is pretty my style, just a massive bop up with the moon kick to a pretty good edge. So the idea is once we stick the crux move, which is moving over the lip, we should be home free as long as I don't have a heart attack, which spoiler alert, when we do stick this move for the first time, this crux move here from the start, I definitely start freaking out. And the last move can absolutely get you if you're not focused. But anyway, yeah, this first move is really kind of a bit tricky and psychs you out and sort of plays with your skin a bit and your chalk. And it's important that I really nail down this first move. And then these next two pinches before we move over the lip are way worse than they looked. So the right hand pinch is okay. It's not too terrible. But the left hand pinch, when we switch it to an undercling, I cannot express how crap this hold is. This pinch is pretty good when you grab it on the way it's meant to be grabbed, but when we undercling it, it's just a really terrible slopey edge with a tiny bit of a lip. And so basically on this move, my left hand is kind of just hovering in place as an undercling, and I can't really pull in with it at all because it's so bad. And it's sort of just acting as an anchor. And I try to whip my body up to this next hold, and then my left hand like comes into play. But anyway, you can see what I mean about this move here not being friendly on the skin. So look at how many times I'm trying this move. Every time I'm falling on it, my right hand is smacking up to this hold and just getting shredded down the hold. But listen, I was getting so inspired by this climb and so motivated. Like, it's such an epic boulder, super my style, and like it is really frustrating when I can't do a boulder that's like really my style, right? It feels just like not satisfying. So I was getting really fired up and I was trying so hard on this boulder. All of these attempts are like maximum effort, and I'm not actually getting upset that I'm not sending the boulder or sticking the move. I'm actually like getting really upset that I'm kind of putting myself in a bit of a hole here, and I'm really messing up the skin on my right hand in particular. So I was getting frustrated at myself that I was trying this boulder so much. I went a little bit overtime in this morning session because I really, really wanted to do this thing, but I should have just called it a bit earlier and saved it for the second session, because I had initially planned on doing 2 sessions here anyway. So I got a little carried away. I definitely lost a lot of skin on my right hand, which also meant that I was really not setting myself up for success in the second session because my skin was so pink. But anyway, I was going to be really unsatisfied if I left Bloc Shop Chabanel today without sending this boulder. So I did everything I could between sessions to recover as much as possible. I did a little bit of stretching, which I don't normally do, to enhance my recovery. I rested a little bit longer than usual, and I haven't been this psyched on sending one specific boulder in quite a while. And I wanted to go to some other gyms too, in the next few sessions. So the idea was I really wanted to send this boulder today because I didn't want to have to come back to Bloc Shop Chabanel soon to do this thing. So first attempt of session 2 was pretty decent. I lost a lot of skin on my right hand though, and I started to realize, okay, I need to make every attempt on this boulder count or I'm going to be absolutely bleeding by the end of this. So for this attempt here, I said, okay, let me just put it all of the energy and the psych I have into this try while I'm fresh for session 2. I'm feeling really strong, even stronger than the morning session. And we're about to like witness just me being absolutely in the zone on this attempt. You can see how efficient I'm trying to be. I'm using a recent tip of the day that we were talking about, efficiency. I'm connecting all my moves as much as possible, trying to maximize the amount of energy and power that I'm using throughout this boulder. And now I start to freak out though. Like I was saying earlier, I really want to send this boulder, and especially since the theme was like chasing V13 at Bloc Shop, I had a feeling this one might be a 13 because of how absolute limit that boulder felt, and it was my style too. Like that move, slapping up over the lip, is probably one of the hardest individual moves I've done in recent months, and the rest of the boulder isn't easy either. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I just achieved the little mini V13 chasing goal, but I thought about it more and I asked around a bit too with the setters, and I think that one might be like a hard 12, I think. Especially, I think if we're going to qualify like a Bloc Shop V13, it's got to take me more than 1 day, I think. But either way, that one was super satisfying to get a send of, and a super, super epic boulder. And it's cool to see how it really went from feeling impossible at first. Like I didn't budge on that crux move on the first 2 times I tried it. And then I really made a lot of progress with some good try hard. But anyway, yeah, it's fun to accomplish like a little white tape send while I'm in like I'm really in white tape mood right now, like Bloc Shop white tape, hard bowler mood. And so, yeah, it's always fun to play off what you're psyched about, right? I say this a lot with the training videos, that psyched training is the most valuable training. And if you're in the mood for something, you should incorporate it into your training program as much as possible. Anything you're psyched to do, you're always going to put more effort into and get more bang for your buck. And I'm psyched to try and put down some more Bloc Shop white tapes right now, and that's why I went and did it for this day of training. And thank goodness I did that one too, honestly. I would have been sad if I invested all of that skin into it and didn't walk away with a send. And while my skin was pink, I was feeling really strong in the session. Like, no wonder, because I needed to be feeling strong in order to do that red pinchy one. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to ignore the burning sensation I feel in my hands, and I want to just go do some more boulders and take advantage of this really, really strong feeling session. So you can see we put down another black tape a second ago with some purple slopers. That one was pretty hard. And yeah, there's also a lot of good red tapes that I haven't been able to feature in the last couple times we've been to Chabanel because we were like busy trying white tapes and black tapes and whatnot. And yeah, like this here is a cool boulder that I missed out on the last time I was at Bloc Shop. It's kind of off in the corner and I forgot about it. But this one had some really cool moves with some new oleo holds, some new shapes to Canada, and yeah, like a cool sequence set with it as well. And so anyway, I'm going to enjoy this Bloc Shop white tape mini journey while it lasts, because definitely like we're about to switch into the second phase of training where the performance is a little bit more emphasized, and we're going to do some comp simulations, and we need to start getting more variety of boulders in. So it won't be too much longer with the white tape journey before we need to switch up the training a bit. Oh, hey, check this out. Watch my face. Watch my face. Bam, foot slip. And I actually really smashed my face against a wall. And I am very susceptible to bloody noses. And I was ready for my nose to just start like dripping. But luckily it didn't quite start. But anyway, I had to conquer my fear of this boulder now and attempt it again, even though it punched me in the face on the last attempt. But yeah, there is, so for those who don't know, there are 3 locations of Bloc Shop. In the last episode, we were trying that white V13 at Bloc Shop Hochelaga. This location here is Chabanel, and we just did that red pinchy one. And then there's a 3rd location of Bloc Shop called Milex. And I was just hanging out with Maddie there recently on my rest day while she was training. And I was watching them set another white tape, which I saw had a V13 tag on it. So I am going to probably go make my way over to Bloc Shop Milex soon and put one more session in on this mini journey of trying to do another Bloc Shop V13, because I think I've only done one of them in my whole time climbing at this gym. All the white tapes I've done have been of like the lower end, and they're always good at having the V13s just really be a step up. And usually I can do them in like 2 parts, but sending them is like a different beast. So yeah, I've been like really itching to do another one, and we have one more chance at Bloc Shop Milex before I got to switch up the training and start focusing on some performance. So yeah, we'll go over to Milex soon enough. But yeah, I was also just really enjoying the rest of this session here, with my satisfaction of achieving that white tape send. It was just time to go into fun mode, and I didn't really have that much stuff left in the gym to try other than most of the red tapes that we've been trying, which was good too, because while I was feeling strong, if I went to go try some more really hard boulders, I would just be really putting my skin in deeper in the hole. Like, it was definitely already in the hole, but I was trying to stick to boulders that wouldn't mess up my skin too much. And yeah, I'm really expecting tomorrow's day of training to be very difficult. I got a campus, but I don't know where I want to campus yet. If I campus at Beta Block, it might mess up my skin a lot, because the holes on that spray wall are definitely pretty textured. So I got to figure out what I'm doing for tomorrow. And then yeah, we're moving into another boulder here. These blue holds at Bloc Shop are known for being way greasier than they look. So I wanted to do this boulder because I knew it would be really great on my skin. And you know that I'm feeling strong in a session when I can transition around between like slabs and like slopey boulders that don't really use your fingers that much, and then go and try a boulder like this near the end of my session, which is super physical and super intense on the grip. Normally, I'm very intentional in my training sessions to do boulders like this at the beginning, when my grip strength is fresh, my fingers are at their most warm, and this is like an injury prevention thing. And usually if I were to try a boulder like that at the end of my session, I would be feeling really tweaky on it. But on days where I just feel like super, super strong, or like in individual sessions where I feel really, really strong, I find I have way more wiggle room to work with, and I can, I don't have to really follow my usual training session rules, and I can really mix and match the order of the boulders that I do. Because usually I try to save like slab and boulders that really don't rely on the grip for the end of my session. But you'll notice that we did some slabs and some chill boulders, and then I was able to go and do a really physical boulder like that blue one. And even this one usually wouldn't be a boulder that I would do like literally as the last boulder of the session, but I was really having a lot of grip strength and extra energy and power to work with on my side today. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and a really awesome day of training here at Bloc Shop Chabanel. So we'll see. I'm going to have to scrape up some energy and some skin for tomorrow. I'm sure tomorrow is going to be brutal, and we're going to do a campus session, but I don't know where yet. So let's jump into tomorrow and see what Future Zach has to say about it. So here we are jumping into the next day of training, and I decided I wanted to go do my campus session at the Hochelaga location of Bloc Shop because they have a really great spray wall, and we train on this thing a lot. And it's been a little bit since I've done a campus session on this spray wall, and I've been kind of lazy about my training on this spray wall in recent weeks, and even in the recent months, honestly. And what I mean by that is I made up like a handful of projects, maybe like 4 or 5 boulders that I've just been working on for a long time. And I've been on like a plateau with a lot of these boulders. And so this is kind of like a bad habit of mine that I have been known to do a lot in the past, especially back home in Ontario. I would do a lot of training on the spray wall, like back in the day at my family gym. And I would really get lazy a lot of the times where I would just set some projects and sort of throw myself at them over the course of a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and say to myself, oh, you know, it's good to like track my progress on these boulders, and as long as I'm trying hard on them and working hard while I'm projecting these boulders, it's like a valuable session. And you know, we all are all busy, and maybe we just want to get into the gym and get on with the session, and we don't necessarily want to think and make up new boulders. And this has been the case with myself a lot of the times. But basically, the reason this is a bad habit is because I think, I mean, it's always been my philosophy that trying new movements, for the most part, is really what's going to get you making a lot of progress as a climber. Especially if we have someone in like the V8 to V9 range trying to make progress. I'm always like a advocate for variety and really approaching boulders with a curious attitude and like just a fresh sense of motivation to try and make progress on new moves and send a boulder that you haven't tried before. And projecting is good, definitely, but a lot of the times we get too used to movements if we project a boulder for too long, and it just becomes monotonous and it's not engaging for our mind and our body to a certain degree. So anyway, this is all to say that I've been noticing myself fall back into this bad habit on my campus boulders on this Hochelaga spray wall. And so I said, today, I'm not going to try a single one of the old campus projects. I'm going to make all new boulders. And so all these ones that we're trying today are brand new that I just made up on the spot. And actually, I want to tune into this boulder really quick. This one, I was really cooking with this one. I'm kind of proud of this move. It seems very subtle, but I think it's actually has the potential to be like a move, like a new, brand new move. So check this out. This move here is what I'm talking about. Notice how, well, okay, here I fumble it, and this is an example of how the mechanism is supposed to work. The idea is it's a very difficult position for me to pull off of the green crimp and the blue sloper and generate a lot of power, because the blue sloper is so bad that I'm really just kind of hanging on my right arm. But if I do this, where I am like pulling up off of the blue crimp for my left hand already, and I just sort of use the blue sloper as a boost in power and pulling force to get myself up to the next crimp, it's kind of like a paddle, but it's not really a paddle because, you know, my right hand is staying anchored the whole time. But the idea is I have this green crimp and the blue crimp, and I can't pull hard enough all the way up to the blue crimp, and I need to pull off the blue sloper mid-move to like boost my power. I don't know. I think you get the idea just from the visual, and I don't need to explain it too much. But you know, if I was to do any setting in the near future, like it's always been an idea of mine to do like a join in on a rose block set one day if they'll have me. I'm gonna try and set this move. I think I may be onto something here. It would definitely take some fine tuning on like a real boulder, especially. Because with feet involved, it might be way easier to break this, but it was definitely cool to kind of do a more subtle paddle that obviously doesn't have us actually like paddling through moves. It's just a boost in power. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll try to set that one day. I think it's a cool move. But anyway, speaking of moves, check this move out here. It's going to feature today's tip of the day. So for today's tip of the day, I want to talk about what we should focus on when we're holding a swing on two holds that are facing the same direction. So obviously I'm doing a move here that is using this idea, and the biggest thing to focus on is to almost try and create the effect of what it would feel like to do this move as a double Gaston move. So if this big blue hold was flipped and facing the other way and it was simply a shoulder move, this move would be a lot easier, and all I would do is sort of really press into my shoulder and oppose the force my left hand is giving, and that achieves a very stable position. And so since the hold is not a Gaston, how do we really focus on doing that? Well, what I'm doing with this hold is I'm pinching it a bit, and what I'm doing is I'm intentionally trying to squeeze this hold and basically pull myself up into the left. So I'm trying to, rather than pinching the hold and pulling sideways on it and trying to pull myself to the right, obviously I don't want to do that. Otherwise I would just simply pull myself to the right and off of these two holds. So I need to create the proper line of direction with my pulling. So I pinch the hold and I pull myself in and up and towards the left, similar to what a Gaston with my right hand would do, whereas a Gaston I'm sort of more pressing on it. And in this position, I have to pinch and pull myself in that direction. So I'm trying to get my head and the majority of my upper body closer to my left hand, because that's just the more stable arm in this position. And I'm really trying to mimic that sensation that I'm feeling in my shoulders as I would with a double Gaston move. And this is a very important idea to keep in mind when we're jumping between holds that are facing the same way. We want to pull ourselves in a way that we would be feeling in a double Gaston, and also it's important to stay really high. Like if we start sagging, like if I were to hit this blue hold and my arms were straighter, I can't achieve the double Gaston effect as well. So it's important that we hit the holds and also stay really high and really pull and press ourselves up and to the left. Or if the move was flipped, we would do it to the right. And that's also a key idea when we're doing like a shoulder buster move, right? The idea is we hit the two Gastons and we pull ourselves up really high, and that just uses like stronger muscles in our shoulder. And if we get like our chin above our hands, that's always a strong, stable feeling position. And it's important to really try and mimic that feeling when we're using holds that are facing the same way. And that's today's tip of the day. Keep that in mind. And then also the ending sequence of this boulder that we're trying here is also really cool. And man, can I just say as well, I mean, everybody's different. Like I'm sure for some people, projecting boulders for a long period of time is just really enjoyable. But I think that you should definitely make an effort to force yourself to make up some new boulders if you are someone who trains on the spray wheel a lot, because man, it is just so much fun sometimes. Like I haven't actually really been enjoying my campus sessions on the Hochelaga spray wall recently because I've just felt uninspired. And it was just simply because I got too lazy and caught up in trying my old projects and thinking that basically the bad habit was that I thought that I needed to prove to myself that I could actually send my projects and prove to myself that I'm making progress, right? And I wasn't good at just walking away from boulders and leaving them undone. And I think that's the point I'm getting at. And that's like the bad habit that I was falling into, at least for myself. And so I said, even though there's a lot of unsent projects on this wall, I've spent too much time on it. I need to break up the monotony, spice things up, and make up some brand new boulders on this wall to campus on. And it was a whole lot of fun. And I came up with some new fun movements. And maybe every once in a while I can revisit one of the older projects on this wall. But also, like especially if we're talking in the context of comp climbing, new moves are always just superior to projecting boulders for a long time. And so I'm going to be a bit more conscious of that. Maybe I'll try and like create a rule that I can only try a boulder for 2 sessions maximum on the spray wall. And if it just doesn't go by then we'll just have to walk away from it, which I'm very bad at doing for the most part, but I'm getting better. And anyway, I guess I haven't mentioned yet either that I was really surprised that my skin was holding up today. It was super pink and it was definitely burning, but I was feeling really strong in the session, and that was also helping to carry. Because a lot of the holds on this spray wall at Hochelaga are quite textured, so I was really nervous for this campus session after obliterating myself yesterday, but thankfully it held up. But actually, since the boulder that was really messing our skin up was the red pinchy boulder, pinch block today was like really hard for two reasons. First of all, my pinching was just really tired from projecting that boulder all day yesterday, and so it made for a really difficult pinch block session. But also, my thumb fingertips have never been this pink before in my entire life. Like, it was so important to use our thumbs effectively on the red pinching boulder yesterday that they were just getting worn down. And I don't think my fingertips and my thumb are so pink, and they were like burning during that pinch block. So I was honestly very surprised at myself that I was able to execute the entire campus session and the pinch block workout, considering how terrible condition my body was in today. But like I was saying, and like I've been saying in previous episodes, it's really important to me to try and execute this training program perfectly and to a T as we're approaching the World Cup steadily. And it's been like too long that I've just been having fun and not being on a strict program, and now it's time for me to like buckle down and really stick to a program, stick to a solid routine. And like a routine that you're just consistent about is also like pretty key for progress, at least when we're trying to peak properly and hit our maximum fitness. So it's the theme of like the past couple months before we started this program was all about like dedicating time in the year to having fun so that we can like sustain the couple month like training bout when we need to be super dedicated and super strict about our training, right? It's all about fueling and like refueling. We have to have a couple months of just fun, just climbing around, doing fun content in order to fuel up our motivation so that we can put our head down for the next 2 months and really grind out a nice routine and hit a really good peak for a target competition. And then, of course, after that, we have some more fun, refuel, and it's all about this cycle. And anyway, as we're finishing up our workout, maybe I'll mention something that I don't all the time for new viewers who aren't familiar with sort of how I go about doing my workouts. So for all of these exercises that I'm doing, when we see that there's an exercise in brackets like we just did, that was a superset. Those were some exercises that I superset together so the workout doesn't take too long. And then this one, calf raises, we're not supersetting. And then when we look at how the exercise is written out, R4 means we do 4 reps. And I usually try with my workouts that I do, the reps are pretty consecutive for the most part. Like usually we'll just do 4 reps back to back to back when it's listed like that. But let's say I'm just like about to fail a rep or something, I might pause for a second, take maybe like a 10-second rest, and then finish the last rep off. And then when it says S3, that means we do 3 sets. And then the 3 MR is our 3-minute rest. So I have 3 minutes of rest in between every one of these sets. And I usually try to cap my rest between reps at 10 seconds if I do feel like I need to like take a pause between reps. But yeah, I just feel like I don't actually talk about how long I rest between sets often when we're doing these workouts. So it's important for me to mention this from time to time. And then we finish off with our 2 key mobility exercises, calf stretches and our side splits. And yeah, also for reference, this workout, like everything following the pinch block, takes about 2 hours in its entirety. And that's also why it's very important that I superset some exercises, because then if I were to not, it would take almost double the time. Like it would be probably like a 3 to 3.5 hour workout if I didn't superset. So yeah, it's really important to superset. just for the flow of the training day. And also important to superset the exercises correctly, right? Like it's great to superset something like dips and jump squats because you're not really using similar muscle groups at all. But I wouldn't want to superset, jump squats and pistol squat. That wouldn't be super effective. And then we headed home to do our hangboard. And this is the home hangboard setup that I talk about a lot. It's the brand is called COMPCLIMB. And yeah, this is honestly the first session, I think, in recent weeks that I've really started to push the weights in my hangboard again, which is like super relieving. I've been fighting off these kind of finger tweaks for a while now, and they're finally starting to not hurt as much, and I'm able to put some like proper weight on when I'm doing my hangs. 70 pounds is kind of like my baseline. If I'm doing 70 pounds and above, it's like a legit feeling hangboard workout for me. Anything below 7 pounds means anything below 70 pounds means that I'm taking it easy for one reason or another. So it's finally feeling really good to be back at my baseline, and consistency is key, honestly, with pushing the weight of my hangboard as well. If I am like skipping hangboard workouts here and there, like I was for the past couple months that we were just having fun, that's when it's really difficult to steadily increase my hangboard workouts. So with this consistency of this new program, I've been really feeling some hangboard gains recently. So anyway, that's the end of a couple awesome training days at Bloc Shop. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Insert Catchy Vitocho here.